Again, so I'm really frustrated now. I tried to do this video and I was like 9 minutes into it and I was just getting to like be done with it and something happened, I think, to the internet connection, and now I'm really upset because I made some really good points. I'm not sure that I'm going to remember them now. Uh, anyway, let's try it again. So, I was trying to do an update. Anxiety. Anxiety is killing me right now. I was watching some videos last night that had popped up on my YouTube suggested things about this kid. He's 20 years old, has social anxiety disorder, and it's really bad with him. He has it pretty severely, and you can see the pain in his face. You can hear it in his voice. You can hear it in what he's saying. Um, and I do have social anxiety disorder. It's not something that I usually warn people about, because the big thing that I've warned people about is my depression. It seems to be the lead role in my uh, inability to function as a normal person. So, watching these videos of this kid, he made a few points that made sense. Um, he mentioned that sometimes it feels like he's just stating facts, um, not actually engaging in a conversation, and that makes him feel stupid because he's not connecting with a person. And he mentioned that he can see in his periphery that there are people around, and he's not just worried about the person that he's talking to, um, the fact that he's unable to engage them fully. He's also worried about the people who are around watching and what they're thinking, and what the person he's talking to is thinking, and how he feels stupid. He also mentioned that while the other person is talking, he has to continuously remind himself to keep soft eyes, because uh, he wants to be intense in listening, but because he can't contribute to the conversation, it becomes too intense, and it tends to scare people off. And a lot of the things that he was saying just very relatable to me right now. I had that bad depression on Thursday, and kind of lended itself to me becoming anxious and feeling anxious because, as I mentioned in my last video, I let it bleed into my personal life a little bit, and I was anxious about a conversation that I wanted to have with someone, and so I was already a little bit anxious on Friday, and then I went to the art thing with Artie McArtson, and it was a public thing. There's lots of people around, lots of people. And I think that because I was already a little anxious from the day before, that really uh, fed into the social anxiety disorder and really brought it out in me. Because I mentioned that I felt like Artie McGarson didn't want me around, that I was boring them, that I wasn't interesting, and I was stating facts, ugh, interesting facts to me, but nothing that could actually go into a conversation, just little facts, because I don't read a lot, and when I do read, if something is interesting to me, I memorize it immediately. And so I have all this useless information that I find interesting, and I want to, spread the knowledge and tell it to people, but it doesn't lend itself to full out conversations or debates or arguments or whatever. Um, and so being out in public on Friday with Artie McArtson, usually when we go to these art things, it's a group thing. There are several of us there, and the other people who go were busy on Friday. So it was just me and Artie McArtson, and I feel like maybe because there wasn't other people there to kind of that I know, um, and that Artie McArtson knows, that could take the focus off of me. I felt a lot of pressure to keep the conversation going, and I did feel like everybody around could tell that I was a dud, could tell that I just wasn't interesting. I didn't have the capability to have the conversations. And and then also on Saturday, when I was hanging out with Artie McCartson again, and we had gone out to a restaurant to eat, and I wasn't able to eat my food, even though it was a small portion, and I hadn't eaten in a while, and I was hungry. I wasn't able to eat, and I mentioned that I actually felt sick to my stomach trying to force myself to eat. And this has happened a lot before, and not just hanging out with Artie McGartson. It happens a lot of the time when I'm out somewhere, and I'm only, just today making the connection that maybe that's part of my social anxiety, because I am trying to carry on a conversation with the person in front of me that I'm with at whatever restaurant, bar, whatever, um, and I feel like not only am I not interesting to them, but everybody else around can tell. They can tell that I'm not interesting. And I mean, even with these videos, I'm not stupid, and I don't have that small of a vocabulary. I actually have quite a good vocabulary. I used to really pride myself on my ability to be very articulate and to make people understand things and see things the way that I see them. And I can't seem to do that lately. It's very frustrating. It's very upsetting, and I feel like the level of anxiety I had at the restaurant with Artie McArtson is probably why I wasn't able to communicate with that person very well for the rest of the time that we were hanging out, up to the very awkward maybe I should go, um, which had nothing to do with Artie McArtson, and I hope that person knows that. It was all about me being awkward and uncomfortable because I was anxious. Even now, I mean, I keep taking the deep breaths because I'm having a hard time. I'm just riddled with anxiety, and I worry, being out in public with Artie McArtson and with other people. Um, I worry that I embarrass them. And to kind of go back a little bit to the soft eyes thing, what I tend to do is I tend to do this kind of weird smile. This, like, I understand what you're saying smile. Um, and I feel like it makes the person that I'm talking to feel uncomfortable. Because what the smile is to me is me not knowing how to respond to what they're saying. I want to be funny, and I want to be witty, and I want to be articulate, and I want to contribute to the conversation. And the words just aren't coming at that point in time, so I'm doing this smile like, hey, you're funny, you're witty, you're smart and articulate, look at you go. And I'm so out of place. I just feel like a dud, and I feel like an embarrassment. I I feel like I embarrass people who go out with me in public. Uh, so right now, as an update, the anxiety is getting to me really bad. Um, it's hard to breathe, and it's frustrating. Uh, the depression is still there a little bit, and it's not bad. I feel right now that I'm going to need to get up and get out of this apartment really soon, um, because I don't want to plummet, and I want to continue to be able to function tonight and tomorrow. So I can feel already that I'm going to need to force myself to do something, even though I don't particularly want to. And definitely don't want to be out in public right now, but maybe if I'm alone, I can put on my headphones and just ignore the people and just do my thing. I don't know, but I definitely need some fresh air. Um, so there's my little rant about social anxiety, and maybe someday you'll find out all the weird, quirky things that I have. Depression, social anxiety disorder. Oh, let's see how many I can have. Woohoo! This is ridiculous. There's my rant and update, and I'm gonna go now.